What's up everyone? Really quickly before we get into the video, I just dropped my day trading blueprint. I go over everything in this blueprint on all the high quality setups that I trade on a daily basis, how to maximize profits, how to reach better consistency and profitability in your trading. Through this blueprint, you will find out how to be part of that 10%, what you have to do on a daily basis to be part of that 10%, and plus, if you decide to buy this blueprint, you will be able to get lifetime access to aftermarket review sessions in the Discord. And because I'm just dropping this blueprint and it's the first week I dropped it, you can use code EARLY for 30% off. This will be the biggest discount I ever hold on this blueprint just because it's the holiday season and I'm just dropping this course. I really want you guys to go into the new year with a good blueprint to be able to increase your profitability and have one of the best years of your life. So this would be the best time to get it if you want to know all about my strategies and in-depth analysis on my trading. What's up everyone, it's Futures Flow here, and I know many of you have been requesting that I make a new setup video, as a lot of you were asking how I get my charts to look like this. And I specified my charts for me to be able to use and look at the important information on a daily basis. That's how I made my charts, to pretty much mark out the important information and block out the noise. So I'm going to show you how I set it up. So I'm going to go ahead and load up a new workspace, and then I'm going to go to new and create a new chart. So you should get a screen like this. First we're going to do our time charts. So we're going to go on the time, minute, 5 minute. We don't need to turn on tick replay as this isn't for the footprint. And then we're going to change it to a hollow candlestick and put the up bars to be cyan. And then I usually keep these off. And that should be everything. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this window a bit. Put it at the top left. And there's a couple things I need to do. I'm going to go into properties. I'm going to change the right side margin to 15, and I'm going to turn off the grids. To do that, you just go here and put them to transparent. And then I'm going to turn off show tabs, and then that should be good. Cool. Now we're going to go ahead and put in our indicators, and to do that, right click, click indicators, and the first one we're going to add in are EMAs. And I have two EMAs, first one being the 65 EMA. These are my technical indicators that I use, and I explain how I use them in the blueprint and how I take advantage of them. And I set this one to gold, and I put my width to 2. And then my second EMA is the 200 EMA, and I put this to white with the width at 2. And then the last technical indicator I have on my charts are the pivot points. I pretty much just keep them default. You can change the colors if you would like. But yeah, that's the 5 minute chart. And what I do is I just right click and click duplicate window, and that'll copy this window into here, and I put a 60-minute chart for this one, so it's a 1 hour. And let me just make this more 50-50, so it would be like that. Perfect. Now we're good. Usually I take off pivot points on this one, just because sometimes throughout the day they show up a bit weird on the hourly, so I usually just keep the EMAs on here. Now we can go ahead onto the footprint chart. So I'm going to load up a new chart once again and change it to ES, as that's pretty much all I trade, and we're going to go into a 15 range. Now this is my entry time frame, which is why I use the 15 range. Make sure you have tick replay on, and the candlestick doesn't really matter as the footprint, we change it in there, but just put it to hollow and cyan and do not plot, and then cool. Go ahead and expand this a bit. Same stuff, properties, right side margin, I actually put this to 100, and then make my grids invisible, and then turn off show tabs. Perfect. Now I'm going to zoom in. To do that, all you have to do is click control down arrow, and you can zoom in like that. We finished our time charts. Now this is our entry chart, the 15 range. So let's go ahead and add in the indicators. So obviously first you need to add in the footprint. And there's a few things that I change. Like I said, I like to block out the noise and only focus on the important information. So what we're going to do is turn off the above below POC. We're going to turn off stacked imbalances, reverse imbalances, and pretty much everything here. The only things we're going to keep are the bar statistics, delta divergence, exhaustion print, volume sequencing, and delta surge and delta drop. Now for top row 1, we're going to go ahead and put ratios. And then for bottom row 1, we're also going to put ratios. And then I keep these green. And then for the ratios, I have a custom code that I created because I wanted to say that every single time the ratio is below 1, I want it to be cyan, and every time it's above 28, I want it to be magenta. So you can go ahead and just type in this code right here. Like I said, if you purchase the blueprint, you already have the template. All you have to do is add the template onto your chart. So the next thing we're going to change are the value areas. The only thing we're going to change is the chart background to dark turquoise, and then the outline to a cyan, and then we're going to change the outline of the bearish to red. Then zero prints and thin prints, I keep those off. Delta divergence, I keep default. And then exhaustion prints, I change these to gold. And as the video goes on, I'm going to explain my reasoning behind the colors, but there's a psychological factor that happens with colors in trading. So the way that I made my footprint is that everything cyan and green is bullish, everything pink and red is bearish, and then things that are gold is pretty much stuff that I need to open my eye for and look out for, as that might be important confluence that I need to make for a trade. So those are my reasoning behind the colors. Now for imbalances, I changed my oversized imbalance percent to 700 and big imbalance level to 1000. And then I changed the buy imbalance text color to a cyan, as well as the multiple buy imbalance outline to a dark turquoise. For the stacked imbalance background color, I had that set to cyan. And then imbalance reversals I keep off, but inverse imbalances I keep on. I have it set to just one bar, and then I have them set to gold. Market sweeps I have on, and at my minimum volume is 10, market sweep levels 4, bars 1, and then I change them to gold. For the footprint summary, I do have it on. I have volume first, and then I have delta, max delta, minimum delta, and then everything else I turn off. For the colors, positive cell background, I have this set to dark turquoise. And then strong positive I have set to cyan, with the strong negative being red. And then low volume I have set to black. This will block out a lot of the low numbers, so we won't see that noise, and it'll make the extreme numbers pop out pretty much, which is very important. Then we have to change the code in here. You can go ahead and copy this code onto your screen. What it says is delta, every single time delta is above 750, the background color would be cyan, and every single time delta is below negative 750, the background color would be red. And then we have to change the minimum and maximum delta. You can just copy that code as well. So it should look like that. And that's pretty much it. I turn off volume profile, and then for these I change it to a 20 bar width, with the outline down bar being red, up bar being cyan, and then I set these two to transparent. And that's it for the footprint. Now let's go ahead onto the buy and sell momentum. So for this, I turn everything off. and I keep on the excessive buying. I change the excessive buying color to a cyan, and then I change it to fill. And that's it for the buy and sell momentum. And then I add in 3 multi-time frame EMAs, the first one being the 15 range on the actual chart, which is a 14 period with the cyan color. I go over why I do this 14 period in the blueprint, but that's a lesson that's going to come out, I think, January 3rd. I'm releasing lessons as the weeks go on, so you guys can focus on the beginning lessons, and then as you get more advanced on the footprint, I release new lessons. Oh, whoops. So 15 range, and then period being the 14 EMA. So the other two EMAs will be the 65 EMA on the minute chart, the 1 minute, but this will go inside its own panel. So new panel, and then we'll do the same thing with the 200 EMA on the 1 minute. And then this will also go inside of its own panel. Where is panel? Right here. And then the only other thing I really have on my range chart is the range counter. All this does is tell you how many ticks are left on the chart. So once you click apply, just let it load, and it'll come very zoomed out like that. All you have to do is just zoom in, and you'll see the buy and sell momentum is very large. To fix that, click Alt and then the up arrow, and that will fix the bars. So there is one more thing. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. If you want to turn off every single number below 750 and above below 750 and above negative 750, go into your footprint, scroll down, and to block out that little bit of extra noise, just change these to black. And what this will do is make sure that only numbers above 750 get highlighted in cyan, and then numbers below negative 750 will also be highlighted. And if you want to fix these bars hiding behind this data table, go to the right side margin, click properties, and click lower margin to be around 15, and that should fix it. If you want to do a little bit extra space, go ahead and put that to 20, and that should be good. That's pretty much how I set up my charts. If there's any questions, you can leave it in the comments or join my Discord completely for free, and you can ask me the questions there. Like I said, if you want to learn more about my in-depth strategies, you can go ahead and purchase the course, and you be sure to join my Discord if you do, because you have lifetime access to aftermarket review sessions. And that's pretty much it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.